Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. These are recorded live Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, we will edit out the clips, put in little timestamps there, and then release it on the world in smaller clips. But anyway, today is the privacy and just a couple of brief security items as well. And so what we're going to do is start in with just a couple of updates. First, Zoom reaches an $85 million settlement over user privacy and Zoom bombing. The Zoom bombing, I don't necessarily see that as Zoom's problem, except for the fact that maybe they could have had passwords set by default, and that would have been way more annoying. But they did say that they were end-to-end encrypted, and they were not, and they were giving data to Facebook, Google, and LinkedIn. And basically what happened here is a whole lot of data was collected. And so what happens is subscribers in this class action would be eligible for 15% refunds on their core subscriptions or $25, whichever is larger, while others could receive up to $15. So you have given up all of your data to big tech, and there's no necessary requirement that they had to delete it. So they basically just paid you $25, which is an absolute steal from what Amazon is going to offer, so we will see later on in the news. But we do have a couple more updates. Google has a class action lawsuit, is paying out $2.15 for Google privacy violations. $2.15. All of a sudden, that 25 sounds like a great deal. But that's getting paid out now. Woohoo! Everybody, take your $2.15 and I guess go to Walmart and buy 2 candy bars. I guess 1.5 candy bars, I think. This is kind of an update. Apple started to expand digital ID cards across the United States and Canada. And this is kind of an update article. Colleges across the United States and Canada are adopting virtual student IDs. So they're completely tied into all of your Apple accounts that every one of you should be deleting. And you will completely see why you should all smash your Apple devices against hard rocks, like immediately. Of course, I'm not responsible if you do that, but let's see if I can persuade you that Apple is no longer, I mean, if it were ever a trusted company, it is no longer a trusted company. They got all 1984 on you. We'll see more about that. But the idea here is that no matter what your school was, you know, several schools throughout the country, United States and Canada, start tying in their college IDs with your Apple Pay system. So, you know, you could pay for your food and stuff with Apple Pay, and just the whole variety of other things that you can do with your Apple ID and such. But you can use your phone for your ID, for whatever else, which of course you might need to go to the cafeteria, get into buildings, all these types of things. So this is now Apple tracking everything you're doing. If you don't have Apple, Android phones will be able to use some Google Play access, not quite as robust through the cards. But anyway, those are some of the things that are starting to creep on. And the problem you have with this type of stuff here is that it starts to creep in, and they don't have to sell you as the end user. They just have to sell your college, and then you happen to be an SOL kind of guy. And so there we have it. And I believe that this starts in on our new news. If you thought that $25 was a great deal to get for privacy, well, what do you think about Amazon? They are offering you $10 in Amazon store credit if you go to one of their kiosks and scan your palm print. Are people actually this stupid? Yeah, Amazon, take my palm print, scan it into your system. That's right, make my bio IDs. Give me my $10. Woohoo! Woohoo! I got $10 now, guys. Oh, $10. I'm going to pull a Dave Ramsey here. If $10 changes your life, you got serious problems. $10 in our modern day. I mean, come on. That's 2/3 of an hour for work if the Democrats have their way. I mean, really. Yeah, do you value your palm print at $10? So the idea here is that it is the Amazon Go stores, but there's a variety of different things. Amazon Go, Go Grocery, Books, Whole Foods, all sorts of places where you can pay with a scan of your hand. Well, they're giving you $10 to incentivize people to go ahead and give them the scans. But why? What on earth would possess you to do this? I mean, really? I mean, $10. The comments are glorious. Nice try, Bezos. That's no from me, dog. Of course, Bezos is no longer in charge of Amazon. So sorry, Zipper Boy, but that's really not accurate. Oh boy, a month free in Amazon Prime Video. Woohoo! Just become assimilated. Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated or you will be destroyed. What's scary? How many people will make this trade? No thanks, Bezos. You know too much already. I've always said use an ID card or to pay for the products to have your best ID on you, especially the technology advances. Palm read technology which read blood vessels and fingerprints at the same time, so you just can't be copied yet. Is this guy... okay, I've always said, why use a card for products? He's either a really good troll or he's a really stupid individual. So what's the... so that's what the devil offers for soul these days. Kind of cheap, don't you think? Well, it is Amazon. Were you expecting a deal? Of course. Oh, anyway. Oh, yeah, this guy says ransomware on biometric data soon. There you go. What's next? Send in saliva for 100? Come on, just report to the local police station for a rape kit or something. Give it to Amazon. You'll give you like 150 credit plus 2 free movies. Not that you can buy, mind you, just streamable. You know, they'll kill them if you ever close your account or whatever else. Well, Google is kind of frustrated that people just aren't buying into the Nest cameras and paying the subscription fees, so they're hoping a less restrictive subscription requirement will entice more buyers. So now Google Nest Cams can record video without a monthly subscription. They also do now have the capability, this is a good point, they do now have the capability of recording into a local drive instead of on the cloud, although I'm not sure if that's local or supplemental, because their idea here was, oh, well, if the internet goes down, you don't want to lose the footage or whatever else. And so this is why, I don't know. But anyway, you could pay the subscription still for more stuff. They have the Nest Aware. Okay, Nest Aware. That's right. That's all I need. I need Google completely aware of everything going on in my house. No thank you, Google. No thank you. But you can actually use them now without a subscription plan, things like that. So please don't steal this totally wireless, magnetically mounted camera, you think? I mean, you just hit it with an EMP charge, or you can, go up behind it and give me my camera. So, you know. But anyway, are we ready to see how Apple's going on 1984? Now, I gotta say that what their goals are certainly lofty. But as I've said before, they'll try to get things passed in a place that if you object to what they're doing, you start looking like a bad guy. So here it is. They're doing CSAM. So what this is an evaluation of your device for child material. And so what they're doing is, on a very, very soon update, they are deploying to all your devices, your iPhones, your Apple Watches, your iPads, and your Macs. Some things are saying only iPhones. It is everything if you read their documentation. It's a huge PDF. I scanned through all that. This is a program. It's going to then download a hash tab of known naughty images. So literally everybody's phone is going to contain hashes for all of the naughty videos that the Center for Exploited Children seem to know about. And then it's going to proceed to scan everything on your device looking for such hashes. And if it comes up with a positive, it's going to flag your device for a review from a local law enforcement. What? You're actually actually deploying this on your devices. Oh, we got to stop the bad traffickers. We got to stop the bad traffickers. So this is called CSAM. The technology, now it is a neural, it uses the same system called neural, I'm sure we'll find it here in the platform. It is designed as an AI learning device. That is your red flag, because it starts with, oh, of course we need to weed out these nasty things. Somebody asked in the comment, how likely is a false positive? They say 1 in a trillion, which if you multiply by the number of photos people have, that pretty much means every third person will get flagged. Just an FYI. But here's the thing. It starts with, oh, who would possibly resist this? Well, it's a learning system, and then you can feed anything. Remember how certain presidents said that the WS is the biggest threat in America right now? Those evil supremacists. And of course, Pepe the Frog is considered as a sign of that. Well, what if the government says, we need to know everyone who's got Pepe the Frog on their phone? Yeah, Apple's system can do that. All they need to do is just push you the new hash file. Mr. President, we found some Pepe the Frog on this iPhone over here. Get him! And that's really what's going on with this. Now, obviously, it starts with the noble goals of stopping exploitation of children, which obviously is a good thing. But this is literally turning your device into a giant spy network. If you are still using Apple at this point in time, you have some serious problems. This is the way in to monitor, scan everything you're doing. This is why you don't want to use this. Now, as of now, when it first gets deployed, it's deployed on your devices. It's deployed. Now, this is weird. It says it's deployed on everybody's devices, but it will only scan if you're connected to iCloud. For now. For now. They're very clear on that. So Matthew Green is an associate professor at Johns Hopkins Information Security Institute. He makes claims that this is bad. Okay. Apple's plan to unveil a new scanning tool tomorrow. That might be out today, by the way. Has been verified by Green to numerous sources. The client-side tool will scan CSAM on infected users' devices. It will send any image tagged by it to Apple servers. Your phone will download a database of fingerprints for all bad photos, CP, recruitment videos, MAGA hats, I guess. I don't know. It will search your phone for matches. He says the gadget will hunt for CSAM using a perceptual hashtag. Photos with a hashtag will be sent to Apple's servers. Apple reportedly produced these hashes using a new and proprietary neural hashing method. He says Apple has NCMEC's clearance to utilize it. That is the, I believe that's the Center for National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So they're literally using their information, their database for now. So initially, Apple is not going to deploy the system on your encrypted images. They're only going to use it on their phones libraries and only if you have iCloud backup turned on. So in that sense, it's only scan data on Apple servers already, no problem, right? The problem is it's going to get further because they have said it's going to go further than that. That's just how they're starting it. This means that depending on how they work, it might be possible for someone to make problematic images that match entirely harmless images, like political images shared by persecuted groups. These harmless images would be reported to the provider. Technology should help catch and eventually stop the distribution and production of bad stuff, but at least within the iOS ecosystem. Again, this is where a lot of these articles just picked up on the EOS. Apple actually has the PDF. You can go read it. It's like 50 or so pages, 30 or 50 pages. I forget. I did skim through it. It is deployed across everything. Everything Apple. This is not just an iPhone thing. This is iPhones, iPads, iWatches, and Mac OS. And so this is really what they're doing. Here is a little bit more about what they're doing. They claim 1 in 1 trillion chance of false positives, which with the number of photos, I meant to see how many pictures I have in my photo library. I would not be a stretch to say I have, 30, 40,000. And I don't take photos nearly as much as many people do. So what they're doing here, let's see. Oh, I thought I had more imagery in this one. So basically how it works is there is actually, this might be the link. Oh, this is the link. Okay. So this is their kind of like Apple thing. So this is the communication message. This is actually the PDF documentation. So this one's 12 pages. So this is how this is working. So it provides Apple does not learn anything about the images. Oh, by the way, they're saying this is done in a way that preserves user privacy. There is no user privacy when you're deploying your software on client devices to search what they have and send it back. This is insane. System overview. So there's a series of these hashes. They send the series of the hashes over to where this green box client device, this is your phone. So there is a list of hashes that your phone gets, and then it scans this list of hashes against the things on your individual phone. So in other words, don't take pictures of hot dogs. And then if it finds something that looks like a hash in here, then it's going to send this up to iCloud, run it through the filters, and then they are saying there's a threshold, but they don't tell you what that threshold is. If the threshold is exceeded, they're going to decrypt the message and send it on to a review with federal agents. Yeah. And so that's kind of how it works. So here is the neural hash of this image, this image, this image. So you have basically the neural hashes. And so, you can read through all the rest of the technical data here if you so are inclined, but it's basically going to scan your device against every photo that's on it, and it's just going to start with that, but there you have it, guys. This is insane. This is the start of 1984. This is a technology that once you're aware of this, you should be immediately making plans to exit us off of the Apple ecosystem, but it's so convenient. This is how democracy dies. This is how democracy dies. When you trade your convenience for your freedom and your privacy, woe to you. Well, if you want to help support the channel, we do have a series of affiliates. ExpressVPN is a great VPN if you need a VPN for being on the road, if you need it to connect to different servers, break out of geolocations, things like that. Have a look at ExpressVPN, tlm.li/EV. You can connect up to, I think this was 5 devices simultaneously, including a whole router. And so there we have it, guys. You can help support the channel over there. Now let's go ahead and have a look at just a couple of security articles. So first up, with the help from Google, an impersonated Brave.com website pushes malware. Google's like, yeah, download Brave, guys. Do it. Do it. Do it. So what happened here is, with a valid certificate, by the way, the fake Brave, now note the little dot there above the E in Brave. Bravey.com could fool even security-savvy people. So the scam actually worked by utilizing a series of ads. Now, this one here particularly frustrates the bejeebers out of me because if you run like a Shopify store, Shopify seems to be flagged as malware on Google almost all the time. So like if you're running a Shopify store and you plan on running Google ads, you are in for a battle. But apparently you can push literal malware through Google ads, and they don't really care. It's just the Shopify sites. Just the Shopify sites. So Google went from Google to malware in 10 seconds flat. So what they did is they got out a series of ads for Brave browser. They matched a lot of things. They went to these custom domains in which would end up redirecting you to the Brave.com, which had the little dot above it, and it was almost a perfect replica of the Brave website. And at the download, instead of actually downloading the Brave files, it would download an ISO image and an EXE. So in this, if you open that guy up and open these, you're going to get a payload of malware. So literally, it was just done by redirecting through Google Ads, which is why, yeah, ads can certainly be a problem. So there we have it. And the State Department and 3 other U.S. agencies earn a D for cybersecurity. This is the same group that says, we need to take over securing the pipelines and all the critical infrastructure to prevent these hackers from getting in. Well, you're failing your own sites. So 2 years after a damning cybersecurity report, auditors find little has improved. So cybersecurity at 8 federal agencies is so poor that 4 of them earned grades of D, 3 got C's, and only 1 received a B in a report issued in Tuesday by a Senate U.S. committee. It is clear that the data entrusted to these 8 key agencies remain at risk, the 47-page report stated, as hackers, both state-sponsored and otherwise, become increasingly sophisticated and persistent. Congress and the executive branch cannot continue to allow personally identifiable information and national security secrets to remain vulnerable. Yeah, this is my big problem with giving everybody every bit of data that they want. This is why we need really, really small government and why we don't need to have all of this data in the cloud. We don't need to be pushing taxes online. We don't need to be pushing all of this stuff online. We just don't. So Department of State has a D, Department of Transportation has a D, Department of Education has a D. That's just irony right there. Social Security Administration, D. I'm surprised it did that well. Department of Agriculture, C. Health and Human Services gets a C. Department of Housing and Urban Development gets a C. And Homeland Security, at least they get a B. All right. That's slightly comforting. Maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, these are the groups that want to tell us, hey, man, we need to have, you know, whatever. And so that's, oh, Lordy. This is our government, guys, but they're here to help. Don't worry. You can help support the channel by jumping onto our Subscribestar page, subscribestar.com/switchedtolinux. That'll give you the access to jump in to the live streams, and we're talking about possibly doing some other things in the future as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.